This is more or less what we do on the track days. This is all, today is a track day that all our friends are coming in. We've got about 6 or 7 of us from Gibraltar, so there is quite an enthusiasm for this. And this is much more relaxed than when we do any competition. Basically, what we do is a couple of days prior to this, we get the bikes all sorted with all the right equipment for it. We do check all the engine oils and all the refrigeration part of the bike. Most of us are, as you can see, we are wearing all tire warmers. This is a bit of a safety issue because you get the tires into temperature and it doesn't affect the heat cycles of the tire, which degrades the performance. And this is how it all started when we were all on 2016, 2015. We started as a group, and bit by bit we've been coming more and more. These track days usually happen, say, 6 to 7 times a year. But then if you get into competition, then that goes going at a more and more and more and more until you're basically every month on the bike, and sometimes 2 times a month on the bike, and then also testing in different circuits in Spain, because you need the practice for when you race there. Some are very far away, 1,000 kilometers from us, but we make the best effort to try and attend as much as possible so that we don't have that handicap when the race starts.
The Jerez race circuit lies a little over an hour's drive northwest of Gibraltar. The circuit is famous in the region and across Spain. It is an annual feature on the MotoGP calendar, but the circuit also makes itself available to amateur racing and even the public on open circuit days. Each week, from near and far, people travel to the circuit to see how fast they can go and to push their machines and themselves to the limit. And the Gibraltar contingency travelling to the circuit is not insignificant.
So Julian, I need to ask you, because I'm quite interested about all of this, all this gear that you're wearing. So
yeah, well, this is also for safety. Sometimes it's very hot and unbearable to wear it, but it is the sport that you choose. And basically you have a leather suit which is quite tough for in any case you fall down or whatever. It's got all the Kevlar threads in it, so it's tougher to break. Then all of this has all internal plastic protections and sliders. This also is the ones that you touch the knee on the ground.
Wow.
This gives you more or less a guide to your inclination and where you feel comfortable. So I only use it, I only touch and then release, so I know I'm there when I'm sitting comfortable. The boots is very important as well. It's got also some inner protections for your ankle. Then you have the back protector. This covers the whole your spine, which is a very important part of your body.
Right.
And that covers that. And then I also use these chest protectors in case there's a front collision. I mean, in this sport, it doesn't only depend on you, because you can be the safest rider or the most professional rider, but it also happens that the one coming behind you can lose its control and then hit you, and that is where the serious injuries come in play.
Julian Martinez has always considered himself a motorhead with a passion for going fast. Currently 50 years of age, he only started racing motorcycles in the last 5 years, despite always having enjoyed open circuit days. And no one can deny his talent for the sport. In his first season in 2018, he won the Andalusian 1000cc category championship. In 2019, he was promoted to the Open 1000cc in the Andalusian Championship, which he managed second place, losing out to first place by only 2 points. During the same season, he competed for the first time in the Yamaha R1 Spanish National Championship, winning first position in the rookie category, and in 2020 he was promoted to the Masters category, which he won and impressively came third overall in the Open Yamaha R1 Spanish Championship. Julian has also tried his hand at car racing and racing fast launches. Most recently, he also started learning to fly microlights.
racing all day here in Jerez, and apparently in one of the last sessions I was pushing hard because I was pushing hard. But apparently on one session before me there's been an accident and there was an oil spill on the track. So they cleared up the track, but apparently on my last session I had a nasty accident because I actually got oil on my tyres, and I slipped and I had a nasty accident, hitting the ground really, really hard.
For about 2 years ago, 2 years in September, yeah, we went to Aragon, and the very first day that I got there, just coming out of the box, for not putting tire warmers on and telling everybody, we're gonna go tranquilo, we're gonna go and test out the circuit, we haven't seen it before. Just left the box, opened the gas, and went flying up into the air.
Wow.
So what happened was I got knocked out and the bike ran over my left foot. And I had a very serious, like the doctor was about to remove the foot, really.
Wow. Okay.
It was all
shattered.
broken to pieces.
Since I was a kid, my passion is motorbikes.
Right.
Since I've always seen my dad out in the garage, fixing the bike and everything, my brother, so I've loved bikes. So even if I had an accident, I've always put in my mind, just get up, go for it, it's something that's happened, and you have to set your mind and stay focused and say, look, it's something that happened, and you have to carry on, and life carries on. So it's just...
Absolutely.
Obviously, you've got many responsibilities. I've got children. I'm a father of 3 children, so it's a sport that is quite dangerous. So a nasty accident can, affect your family.
Explain to me a little bit about...
This is a telemetry, okay?
Okay.
This is a very simple form of telemetry, because obviously there's, like everything in sports, there's different categories, and you can have telemetries which cost more than 20 grand. This is basically the ones that Yamaha bring with the R1M, which is the bike I competed with. And it's really a help, because it's like a coach with you. It's telling you what you've done in every lap. So basically you can sit down and then look at this. So the enjoyment is not just riding the bike, it's coming back into pit, into the box, and seeing what you've actually done and where you can improve. And you'll get all this. This is the Valencia circuit, and it's telling you where you are at that point. So that's a corner, yeah, and that's the middle. That's part of the circuit that you're going on, and it tells you what you're doing at that time. It's telling you where it's activating the anti-wheelie, or the slide control, or the actual traction control when you're accelerating. It gives you the throttle grip percentage. It gives you the actual bike delivery, power delivery, because although you're opening tops, you are not actually getting the full power, because the bike is actually cutting there, because you have the front wheel on the air, and it's cutting to get it down again.
Okay, so that wraps up a day here in the circuit of Jerez, where we've had the privilege of following a group of Gibraltarians who practice motorsport. I think for me it's been a great experience, and what I'm taking away is more the fact that these individuals, although my initial perception was that they might be adventure seekers or thrill seekers, and that may still be the case, it's not really what drives them to do what they do. What I've gained is that there is a real sense of community within the sport, and they're always trying to better themselves and to learn, much in the same way that people do many other sports. I think it has really dispelled further that idea of the adrenaline junkie, which I've never quite believed in myself. It's really interesting how it's been amazing to see the amount of investment and time, commitment that these individuals put into this sport, the support that they have from their families to continue to do so, even in the face of adversity and injury. I think it's been absolutely amazing,
These are all definitely extreme Gibraltarians, and I really hope that the sport continues to grow because it's very exciting.
I have a very strong relationship with the sea. I have had all my life. It's part of me. You know, if I were to go inland, like somewhere like Madrid, and I didn't see the sea for a week, I'd start getting nervous. So, you know, the connection with the sea for me is very important, and that really is part of why I love being in the sea. And then freediving itself gives you such a raw experience. Childhood, I was always spearfishing, snorkeling, and it was part of my life, you know, from when I was a boy. Then I left it for a while. I did scuba diving, tried other things, and I found that nothing that I did sports-wise gave me the same relaxation and the same, you know, peaceful feeling and enjoyment. So I eventually went to scuba diving to the Galapagos, and it was just, it took my breath away. You know, I was diving there, lots of marine life. And after about 3 days diving with scuba gear, I just got bored with it. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to do some snorkeling today. And I was diving down to 30 meters at the same depth that the scuba divers were, you know, with no previous training. And it just came to me. It was like, you know, this is what I'm meant to do. So when I came back, I just I looked up a little bit of free diving courses and stuff online, and I just applied. I went to Tenerife, I did the courses, and 6 months later I was offered by the world champion to do a very special competition that they had for the world's top athletes in freediving. Wow. So I went there, you know, no experience, and ended up with a bronze medal.
Wow.
And then it just, you know, I clicked. I thought, okay, this is now where I'm supposed to be training.
How old were you at that time?
This was only 3 years ago. So
Wow.
I'm 37. I mean, my coach is near his 50s now, 48. And he's a world champion, world record holder.
Wow.
And he's still improving.
Pienso que entre todos la gente que estoy entrenando son casi del mismo nivel, y lo que tiene de diferente es que es muy correcto y recto. También tiene esta capacidad de progresar, siempre de crecer mental, física, y yo pienso que el año que viene va a ser muy bueno.
I think what we'll do is we'll get your normal lung capacity now, okay, and your vital capacity, and then we can maybe try and see the difference that packing makes if we can do that as well, and we can talk about packing as well.
Well done. Keep going, 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 keep going. You're doing really well. Keep going. Stop. Go. going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Well done. That's it, stop.
So we'll compare myself with Dean in a moment.
No blocking, it's okay.
I mean, basically in training, one part of it is changing my physiology. So I'm adapting my body. It's a very slow process, can take years, to be able to withstand high CO2 levels in my blood and low oxygen levels in my blood. So that's one part of the training, and that takes a long time. Then there's a lot of technical training, so you need to learn technique on how to swim properly, how to be efficient, how to equalize to depth. So there's a technical part. And then, mentally, you have to be mentally prepared. You have to have the discipline to train every day, even when you don't want to. To travel, also during the dive, you're going down very deep. Some places are cold, dark. So you have to have that mental training too.
Now on your third attempt,
Yeah.
one of the breathing techniques that divers use, and I'm going to ask you to explain to me a bit more about shortly, is packing. So packing is used to try and increase the volume of air in your lungs and just in your airways. So for your third attempt, what I'm going to ask you to do is if you can use that packing technique just so we can see what difference that makes. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
What it is, it's the body's reaction to what's happening. You're underwater now, so you can't breathe, and it's a survival reaction. Okay, so we've got receptors around our eyes, and as soon as they feel water, then it starts. The second trigger is obviously pressure. So the deeper we go, the stronger the dive reflex comes in. And what happens is that we get vascular constriction, so all the blood migrates from the limbs, to our vital organs. Right. Our heart rate lowers, and mentally we also sort of detach ourselves from the moment. So you sort of drift away mentally, and you just your mind sort of slows down too. So you could say it's a kind of meditation mentally too. So all these things happen together, and it makes your body very, very efficient, so you don't use as much oxygen and you don't circulate as much CO2 and so on. So.
Keep going, well done. Really well. Really well done. Really well done. Well done, that's it. Well done, that's it. It's gone off the scale.
Now it's a way of life. I mean, it gives me a lot of purpose. I train every day. It's just a continuous daily routine for me now. So, I can train 2 times a day. I do my stretching, I do my pool work, my gym work, and my mind is constantly focused. And I have goals that I want to meet, so there's always something to look forward to. Every year is getting better, and it's not a boring sport. There's so much to learn. I'm constantly learning. I'm engaged in learning all the time, so it keeps me very, very motivated.
During the series, we have followed the stories of individuals who pursue thrill-seeking sports on land, in the sea and in the air. We have explored what drives them to take the risks associated with these activities and what motivates them to keep doing it even after injury and adversity. But this is only a flavour of some of the challenging and exciting pursuits that local residents take on. In Gibraltar, our environment lends itself to a diverse range of interests and pastimes, which inspire us to push our bodies to their physical limits and overcome our own perception of what is possible.